then I have to do like a fuck ton of editing. I don't want to. I don't like to do any if I don't have to.
We'll just fix it in post.
What's this wee shit?
Perfect. I'll go grab some.
Nah, it's good.
I'll go grab some. Grab that. You can intro if you want.
Alright. So, here we are in Alaska, land of the midnight sun. We're going to do an interview with my business partner and fellow master of mayhem, Danny Munson, also known as Danny Monsoon, about his adventures in being a graffiti artist and the criminal consequences thereof, whether they're fair or not, whether or not our culture is fair to graffiti art and graffiti artists, and that's going to be that. It's taking forever. And mosquitoes are 50 times worse over here in the little swamp.
Probably was.
Yeah, I'm enunciating quite well. I'm gonna move it closer to you.
Want to?
You have to press down on the tripod part. Hi.
Hello.
So how long have you been doing graffiti art?
Graffiti art? What do you mean by graffiti? Can we have that conversation?
Yeah, well, because it's Latin for writing, because it was originally phrases, and you do exclusively pictures, not like tagging or words or
Yeah, I usually
ideograms.
don't use letters, yeah.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, probably about 7 years.
7 years, that's all?
Yeah, probably about that.
Oh, cool. Cool. So,
Did that. Those were my first pieces. It
That's
took
pretty
probably
cool.
about 8 hours
that's pretty cool.
total, yeah. Respect to Dirt Style Records.
Dirt style. So talk to us about the story of the saga of Ketchikan and
So-
the Eagles.
So I went to Ketchikan for work, and I was there for about a year and a half. I'm not from there. It's kind of a small town, a little island town. Not a lot to do. So I got bored and decided I was going to go paint a 50-foot by 50-foot mural of a bald eagle on the side of a retaining wall.
The mosquitoes are horrible.
It's fine. It's
Okay.
fine.
So what happened with the
Oh, with the 50 by 50? I was up there, I was on the top of a 40-foot extension ladder over some really craggy rocks. But I have a background in painting houses, so I know how to like set a ladder and make sure it's safe or whatever. So I was up at the very top of it. And I almost got to the part where I was going to start filling it in with color and doing the, fore part of it, because I already had the background done. And dude, I was up there listening to the hunting party, Lincoln Park, just jamming out, and I just looked down to my left and I see 3 cops there. 2 cop cars, 3 cops, and they were just doing this. Just waiting, because, I don't know how long they had been there, but they could tell they probably were shouting at me or whatever. And then I was like, just like, oh, damn. And they were like, yep. And so I climbed down the ladder. I had my drone filming me, not for any kind of social media purposes. The only reason I had my drone is for documentation, show my grandkids. And so I climbed down the ladder, and the first thing I said, this is where I fucked up, is I said, can I bring my drone down? What I should have said is I have a gun in my pocket. Because I did. Because in Alaska, you can concealed carry without a permit, but it's on you to know the rules, which all gun laws are illegal, to be fair. But you're supposed to declare that you have a firearm, and I didn't do that first thing, so I said, can I bring my drone down? So I brought it down, and the cops were like, and I was like, caught red-handed, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, you know, you're obviously not doing anything super malicious. You're not painting any, like, gang tags or fuck the police. Which maybe I should have been painting that, you know? Maybe the story would be a lot cooler. And then they're going through the normal questioning, and they're like, do you have any weapons on you? And I was like, oh. And then I just went like this. And I was like, yes, I do. I have a gun in my pocket. You can grab it. So they grabbed my gun. It was a 38 special, revolver, little 6-shooter. Like, is it loaded? And I'm like, why would I have it if it's not fucking loaded? Which, you know, we talked about, because I had that for bears. Now, the 38 special for bears, I feel like it's, you know, you're better off having that than nothing. But when we were talking about it, because I had 2 firearms, I had that and the Ruger 5.7.
Right.
And the difference is, for me, I don't keep one chambered in the 5.7, just because I don't like having them chambered. But with the revolver, you know, it's different. So all you gotta do is point and click. So I prefer that, and it's a little bit lighter. So that's what I had on me. And they were pretty cool, honestly. They were cool about it. They took my gun, and I had my truck up at the parking lot, and then they went and took my gun and my truck keys and went and they unloaded it, and they put the bullets in a bag, and then put the gun and the bullets in my glove box, then locked the glove box and came back and gave me my keys. So respect to them for being cool about that, because cops are notorious for stealing firearms illegally. So that happened, and one of the cops was actually like, dude, I was looking at this yesterday. I was like, this is really cool, you know? Unfortunately, here we are. And I was like, yeah, I know. And I asked them, I was like, dude, so someone obviously called me and they're like, yeah. And I was like, did they dial 911? Or did they dial the non-emergency? And they're like, no, they dialed 911. So, to whatever catch a Karen would call the cops on me, it was not an emergency. Maybe the fact that I was up on the top of the extension ladder over the craggy rocks, I could see someone seeing that, but, you know, whoever that was probably never even painted a house in their lives. I don't know. How many houses have you painted?
None.
Those rookie numbers. We get to get those numbers up, dude.
Oh, no thanks. So then what transpired from there? What charges were brought?
So they let me go. They didn't arrest me, but now I was in the system, and they were like, we're going to get a hold of you for court or whatever. Illegal court? No, dude, look, I was committing a crime. I fucking knew I was. The other thing is I was standing right on the other side of 2 no trespassing signs.
Yeah.
And they were like, so you were trespassing, you had a gun that you didn't declare properly, and you were doing this. But they only filed the paperwork for the art. So I will again give them credit for, you know. They did say, when I was sitting there, just like, what the fuck did I just do with my life? They were like, do you have anything else you want to say on the record? And I said, it's just a bummer that Ketchikan doesn't like art. And they were like, oh, come on, man. Like that, like I got him with that one.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that is to be continued. So, finish up the graffiti, how that ended up, like you almost ended up losing all your guns because of what? What did they try to charge you with?
Well, yeah, I guess to give us some context, that year I made like $140,000 working my traffic control job, and this is what I decided to do with my free time, which could have totally fucked my whole career. Making bad decisions, you know? But so I was like, all right, you know, I got in trouble. I knew I was doing something wrong. Is it really a big deal at the end of the day? Turns out the answer to that question is yes, because that is a felony. What I was doing was a felony. And the reason it was a felony is because if you do over $750 worth of damage, it's considered a felony. And the guy from the state or whatever, they asked how much would it cost to repair this. He was like, it'd be like $1,200. So because I did $1,200 worth of damage, that turned it into a felony. So they served me my paperwork, and I was at work. I was like, just please come to my work because I can't leave. So they drive to my work and serve me paperwork, you know, at my fucking super awesome job. And I was in the truck looking through the paperwork, and it was like Class C felony, and I just, like, my heart sunk. And I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Because if that sticks, you lose all your firearms.
You lose all your gun rights, your voting rights, and I'm a hunter in Alaska.
Over a painting.
Yeah, over a painting, and so... yeah, these mosquitoes are bad, dude.
I can't.
This is fine, we're doing fine.
No, it's not. It's fucking miserable. I understand why you want this location, but anyways.
So what do you do when you get charged with a felony? Well, what you don't do, the last thing you would ever want to do, is go online and buy 3 12-gauge shotguns because that's a hole in your firearm inventory that you want to fill before you're not allowed to own guns anymore. So you would never do that.
No.
And I definitely did not do that.
Okay, so how did the court shit go down?
Oh, right. So I hired a lawyer. I hired a local lawyer. I paid him like $3,500. And he did a pretty good job. He got it dropped to a misdemeanor. And he was like, so you're going to have to pay a fine. They told me I would have to pay the cost to fix it and also do 20 hours of community service in Ketchikan while I'm working 80 hours a week. Because I don't live in Ketchikan, so I got to figure out a way to get this community service done on top of actually having a real job.
But you got it done, and you came back down to Idaho, and everything seemed fine, and then...
Well, when I was doing the community service, one of the places was the Eagles Lodge in Ketchikan. And so I went there, and I was doing a mural of a bald eagle. And so I was talking to the guy. His name's Jim, one of the best dudes that's ever existed. Shout out to Jim. And I was like, Jim, you like eagles? And he was like, what are you... Weird question. And so I showed him the picture and you know, told him the whole story. And he was just like, that's fucking bullshit, you know? But I was like, you guys have this big-ass building on Creek Street. Do you want an eagle mural for you? And he was like, hell yeah, sign us up. So Jim approved the eagle mural on the building of the Eagles Lodge in Ketchikan, but he was like, the other part is you have to be a member. You got to sign up and be a member. We'll pay for your membership fees. We'll pay for all the painting materials. And so then I came back this year. This all went down last year. I came back this year to finish the project. And, you know, we got it all squared away. They voted on it. They were like, yes, we want to do this. So I start painting this eagle mural in Ketchikan, Alaska, on Creek Street at the Eagles Lodge.
On a private building.
On a private building that I had permission to do it. And everybody who watched me doing it was like, dude, this is so cool. All the locals were like, yeah, that's awesome. Well, the Eagles Club got a cease and desist order because it's in a historic district. And basically you have to go through this little, it's almost like a HOA, a homeowners association, in the historic district. And some fucking Ketchikan was like, hey, I don't like this. I have the actual paperwork, or a picture of the paperwork. And she was like, it's ugly, it's unsightly, and possibly illegal. She said, I don't like the graffiti style. Those were her words.
Yeah. So that got shut down. So
So that got shut down too.
So you tried it the legal route or illegal route and got in trouble. Then you decided to go legit and you got shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So, when I did a little bit of research, and you look at Basquiat in the 80s.
I've never been to French.
He had a French name. In New York City, he was a graffiti style artist, and his work sells for millions of dollars. And then you go on to Keith Haring in the 90s, also a graffiti style artist who is very popular in pop culture. And then you come on into the 2000s that Banksy is a huge phenomenon. So graffiti has been respected, graffiti style art has been respected since well before you were born, but then there's still this kind of pushback. Why do you think that is? Do you have an opinion?
Because it's hip-hop. Graffiti is hip-hop culture, and people don't like fucking black people.
Oh, well, no, that's valid, actually.
I mean, it's like, they see it, and it reminds them of something that's illegal, even though it's not, and it's a style. The people who are calling the cops on me and all that shit, they're the people who, if they wanted to hire dancers, they want ballet dancers. They don't want break dancers, kind of thing. They don't like that kind of underground, gritty, grimy art style.
Street style.
Street style. Yeah.
They think it's low brow, low class. But like Banksy,
which is, I'm not gonna say it's not low class. I would agree that it's low class, but that's what I like about it. That's what attracts me to it. And I think that's a big part of art.
Low class doesn't always mean in poor taste.
No, because art's one of those things poor people can do. The poors do it all the time.
The poors, if you're an artist at some point, you've probably been a poor.
And it's one of those beautiful things about life. It's like you can be poor and do art and have it be really good and have it be appreciated to where you feel like you're important, you contributed to society. Right. Stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty much free to do. You just got to pay for your gas to get there. If you have a car.
Yeah.
Most of the poors don't have cars.
Most of the poors don't.
You can take a bus.
You can catch a ride with a homie. There's lots of things that you can do.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's a big part of why it was really not accepted, is just the style wasn't...
But you didn't get to finish any of these pieces, and if you've never seen painting being done, there's underlayers and then outlining and whatever.
Yeah, so what I like to do is I start with the white.
Yeah.
Because when you put colors on top of white, it makes it pop out better. And so also the white is like a stencil, and you can kind of just, do it a little differently. Like, this didn't work right, I'm going to do it like this. And you're seeing it the way no one else is seeing it, because they just see a fucking blob. But you're like, that's where my line is going to go, not over here. And then you come back on top of that and you do your black lines to outline it. And that's where it really starts to look cool. Then you do your colors.
Well, because, I think that's a lot of people that have never seen that sort of thing don't understand. Like, I had a good friend who did oils in the style of the Grand Masters, like Rembrandt, Titian, Michelangelo. And those pieces look like shit for a long time because it's layers upon layers upon layers before you get to the actual. God damn it.
America.
America. Well, okay, that's enough.
No, come on, let's finish.
Mosquitoes are eating me alive.
We're already halfway through. Come on, let's go. Next question.
Well, okay. I'm gonna run out of space now, very soon, I'm sure. So, because, anyway.
I'll continue to do art and murals, but I can't afford to have another one of those charges, because once you already have one, because when I got charged, they were like, well, you don't have any priors, especially not for this. And So that was kind of where they showed leniency. But I can't afford to get in trouble like that. I got too many people that rely on me. I got too much stuff going for me. So now the next thing is, how do I find ways to do murals? Because I like big, dude. I like 50 foot by 50 foot.
Yeah.
And so how do you do that? So that's kind of the next game.
Is that why you're building the not gay bathhouse so big?
It's totally not gay, dude.
Is that why you're building it so big?
It's totally not gay, but it's so big, dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen Alaska?
Okay, yep. What about Alaska?
It's so fucking big, bro.
Yeah.
It's so big. The biggest fucking meth problem you've ever seen.
They're hiring in here.
The meth heads are hiring, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think we got it.
Look at this mosquito.
Swamp.
That adds to the content.
No, it does not. I couldn't fucking concentrate.